Okay, we are going to wrap up the triple threat, pillars 2, 3, and 4, and we will go into pillar number 4, which is what I call the need or problem. So, your one has some sort of problem that they are looking for help. They're out looking for a book to help them with this problem. And you can be that one if you know what the problem is that you are helping them with. So the first thing you need to do is decide what problem are you offering to solve or help your one with? And how are you going to solve that problem for them? What can you do? How can you present it to be able to help them out? Is your one even aware that they have this problem? And do they consider it a pain point? Let me give you an example. So sometimes we might think we have a particular problem, but really there's an underlying problem, a root problem that needs to be addressed. And I'm going to just kind of give you an off-the-wall example, but let's say somebody is struggling with dating and seems like every time they go out on a date, they just don't click, or maybe they date for a few months and they always end up breaking it off. Maybe they have some commitment issues. Maybe somebody in the past has hurt them and they just are not allowing themselves to open up in that area because there's some hurt that really needs to be addressed. So they might not be really aware of the real problem. And if they're not aware of the real problem, they're not going to say they have that particular pain point. They're trying to get you to help with this. Maybe it's a secondary pain point or whatever, however you want to word that. But what happens is then you need to meet them at their need and then gently somehow introduce to them the real need, the root problem that they have, and try to help them with that. But first, you come in at where they are. So maybe your book is about dating, and someone who's like, yeah, man, I really am terrible at dating, and so they read your book. But then in your book, you introduce the concept that maybe there's a root problem, maybe there's a hurt from the past that you haven't dealt with, and so you introduce it that way, and they're like, oh, and so then they become more aware of what the real problem is. How are you going to intrigue your reader, to want to learn more from you? What makes you stand out from everybody else? Well, first, to even get somebody to your book, you're going to have to know how to market it. You're going to have a title that is intriguing to them. You're going to have a description that draws them in. So, and we'll talk about that in other videos, but that's like one of the first things. But once they get to your book, what's going to make them want to learn even more, especially if you're trying to bring a business out of this, then how are you going to get them to maybe work with you or buy future books from you? You're going to have to stand out somehow. This kind of goes back to that myth that I talked about, which is there's so many other books out there like the one I want to write. Why should I write it? Why am I wasting my time doing this? And again, that's because no one can tell this story the way you can tell it. Your voice is different. Your experiences are different. And so therefore, you have a unique approach to it. But what else is there that you can do to help you stand out from everybody else? And are you going to appeal to their pain or their dream? So let me explain. We have dreams that we need help with along the way. And we have, there's problems that we have. So maybe someone is going through a problem. Maybe they've been hurt, or maybe it's a debt thing. You need to help them with getting out of debt. That's more of, focusing on the problem. But if somebody has a dream, let's say they have a dream to become an entrepreneur. They want to do maybe digital marketing, but they just don't know how to get started. You're in this course. Maybe you started this course because you had a dream of writing a book and didn't know how to get started. So there are dreams that people might have, and no matter what it is, it's still a pain point. Whether it's a problem or a dream, they still have a pain point. So in a sense, that dream still has some problem connected to it, and that's why they're looking for help. But if you are going to appeal to the dream part of it, that can sometimes come across as just being a more positive approach or a softer approach than the problem, but it really depends on what your topic is as to what you're going to focus on. And so to help you with this process of trying to decide how can I present my solution and stand out from the crowd, here's some questions that maybe can come into play. One is, can you take an existing idea and improve upon it so that you're not starting all over from scratch? This is more of, think about, okay, what's out there on the market and somebody is promoting the same thing. Marketing, let's say marketing. There are, a million different people trying to get you to work with them on how to market. Well, a lot of them are teaching the exact same thing. There's not a lot different, but one might have what they call a system to follow and the other one doesn't. Or someone has maybe one or two other things that they've thrown in there that they found helpful. And so that's taking an existing product or an existing idea and you're improving upon it. You're presenting it in a new way, a new twist or something like that. The next question is, have you taken notice of another product and have an idea to expand on it? So by this I mean it's not taking that product and doing like I just gave for the first example, but this one would be more where you're expanding on it, maybe with complementary type products to go with it or solutions that can go with it. And again, another random example here is somebody who likes to go camping, right? All these different things that they have. Well, think about it. Way back when they camped out, they camped under the stars. Then someone came up with a tent idea. Then someone came up with a camp stove. And then someone came up with an air mattress so you don't have to sleep on the ground. So they took that product or that idea, so in this case it would be like the idea of camping, and they came up with complementary products to make camping better and easier and more fun. And then the next question is there a gap in the market for a product? And this kind of can go along with that second question, but is there something in the market that you've noticed that's not out there that could be really beneficial? So many of the products that we have now that we use in our daily lives are because somebody saw that, man, it'd be really nice if we had such and such. And they came up and invented it. These are questions that maybe you can play around with to help you decide how can you present the solution to the problem that your one has and make it stand out, make it maybe be a little bit different. How can you present it differently or uniquely, put a different spin on it that makes it intriguing and fresh and new to your reader so that they are more intrigued to want to buy your book and work with you potentially. Now, I'm not telling you need to go out and create a brand new product or do something really wild and crazy. These are just really ideas to get you thinking so that you don't really sound like everybody else. And again, still how you present your book is going to be different than how others present it because your voice is different. But can you do something a little bit different to draw in your one? So you must know the solution to the problem, the need, or the dream that your one has, or they're going to keep looking. They're going to go on to the next person. If you're wishy-washy and you don't really know for sure what the solution is, you kind of have ideas and you throw out some, kind of half ideas, but you're really not zeroing in on what they can do to solve their problem, they're going to go elsewhere. So your homework is to write down as many of these ideas that you can think of on how you can present your problem, what the problem is, first of all, or what the dream is. What's the pain point? Focus on that pain point that your one has. And then how can you present that? Can you come up with something that improves upon maybe what they already have or improves upon what other people are already presenting to them, or a whole new twist? What can you do to stand out? And then go out and share the progress that you've made on Facebook. Share your problem that you are working on for your one. And I want to also just make sure that you understand that just like your 1 and your why, be very specific and narrow down what it is that you want to talk about. And that wraps up pillar number 4. The next video is going to be kind of a wrap up for the triple threat, just to help you really understand how important pillars number 2, 3, and 4 are for you.